What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great start to your week. We're going to break down the potential pattern change coming up, what the models are thinking after diving into model runs throughout the day and overnight last night. There's definitely some things to talk about. So we're going to break down the Arctic air masses, the chances for winter weather here in the future, not just here in the southeast, but across the south in general. So Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Mid-Atlantic, things like that. So there's a good bit to talk about. So stay tuned. It's going to be a longer video. Definitely stay for the long run. We're going to break this thing down because, like I said in my last video, a lot of people want to say, hey, is it going to snow? Is it going to do this, that, and the other next weekend? So we're going to talk about some things in this. If you guys have not subscribed and you watch the videos, or if this is your first-time viewer, I make daily videos every day. I talk about weather here on the East Coast and the Eastern U.S., so consider subscribing, like the video if you like it. And thank y'all for tuning in. I've also been doing this new thing past couple weeks where I've been using my platform for an opportunity to reach out to you guys and pray for you guys. And definitely, if y'all have anything going on, you know, if you aren't comfortable giving your whole situation, just put unspoken, and that's good enough for me, and it gives other people a chance to reach out to you and pray for you. So let's talk about weather here. So we're going to start off by just looking at the watches and warnings. Guys, what's going on right now is you have a bunch of basically wind chill advisories going on here, wind chill warnings, and basically the Arctic, the polar vortex has dropped through here. The Arctic front has moved through this entire area, the upper Midwest. They are frigid, coldest air by far of the year, coldest air in some of these areas in the last few years. Where you see the purples, these are winter weather advisories, and then the bluish that you're probably having a hard time seeing on the screen. For you Kentucky viewers on our winter storm watches, there's a lot going on right here. The frontal boundary is set up right here, and I'm about to show you temperatures. And basically, it's not going to budge much here in the next couple of days. It's going to slowly dip south. But what's going on is basically energy, low pressures, moisture is going to ride around this, and obviously in the cold areas are going to get winter weather. So there's a lot of freezing rain here going on here, and the potential for snow and just ice in general. A lot of overrunning. And you got the winter weather advisories up here near Chicago where you're getting insane snowfall rates. So light to moderate snow falling, but you're getting 30-to-1 ratios because it's snowing in the single digits and low teens. So we're going to show you this right here. And check it out. This is the ambient weather site. Basically, ambient weather is its own network. They have they make weather stations and just different kind of weather things, the monitors, and basically lightning detectors. They have basically their own network. So these are all ambient weather stations here, and they basically are giving their own temperature of the area. Obviously, you have much warmer area here in the deep south. But check out what the front is. This is what the Arctic front is. You can obviously see it with the colors. Down here in Dallas, you're in the 60s to close to 70. But right up the road, just north of town, you're in the teens. Oklahoma City in the 20s and teens. So you can obviously see where the Arctic front is set up. You're a little bit cooler here in Arkansas because you got the Ozarks in the mountains, so you don't see such a tight gradient. But obviously the front we're starting to drape over here. Chicago, you're frigid, single digits, even in northern Missouri, obviously in Iowa. And obviously you got much warmer air down here where the front is going to take a long time to get to. So you moving forward, the National Weather Service, the Climate Center, is still in the 6 to 10 day range, talking about a colder than average period. Obviously in the heart of the country, Texas, I'm talking about you. You guys, Dallas, you're going to have some insane switches up as far as temperatures. You're going to go from spring-like weather to frigid temperatures, especially if you're going off the GFS, which I'm going to show. But 6 to 10 day, that's the 14th to 18 range. Guys, I know it seems like we've been talking about this forever. It's annoying to me, too. It's annoying having to tell everybody this, and then it gets delayed. But the more west you are in the southeast, basically if you're more... say if you're more in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, we have a much more higher confidence that this colder than average temperatures are going to get to you. And they are eventually going to get to the southeast like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I really do think. But 6 to 10 day outlook, pretty much 90% of the country has a chance of below average temperatures. Now this is the most interesting part. In the same time period, there is so much energy flying around. There's so much storm systems. You got an active jet that's flirting with an Arctic air mass. So what happens here, if you got cold air in place, you got moisture coming over, you're going to get winter weather. It's the same thing in the southeast. If we could sit here and we can get this Arctic air into the southeast, like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, heck, even the panhandle of Florida, Alabama, if you can get this cold air in place, we got plenty of energy flying around out there, plenty of moisture, plenty of systems. We just need cold air. And I really am liking areas here in the western southeast, like maybe Arkansas, maybe Dallas, maybe northern Louisiana, parts of Mississippi, Tennessee, obviously Kentucky, for a chance for something. So we're going to look at temperatures first. So stick around if you want to see snow and ice. I'm going to show you what the models are showing today. So stick around. Just be patient with me because this is important because we need the cold air here first. So here you go. This is the GFS, the operational run. I'm starting to not to like to show this that much because it's just the wild swings. But check out Dallas here. Dallas is right around here. Look at this. Look how they just get deep. And here comes the front. We're getting into later this week. The Arctic air is just entrenched. If you don't have a pond that's frozen up here, if the Great Lakes are not frozen, they are going to get froze up here for sure. The cold air is not a quick hitter. It's just frigid air here in the Midwest. And look at Dallas. Half the state stays below freezing for days on end, according to the GFS. So look at these single digits. Trying to say for highs in Dallas for this coming Sunday. That's really far out. These are going to moderate. The GFS has what you call cold bias, so it shows much colder temperatures. But check out here in the southeast, Florida's baking in the 80s. The front still hasn't got there. And I'll tell you the truth, you look at the run before, it looked better. It looked like we were trending in the right direction. But now, it's starting to back up again. So, when is the cold air going to get here? That's the question, because that's what we need first. If we're going to talk about winter weather, I'm really liking the confidence here. You guys who live in the western areas of Tennessee, Mississippi, northern Louisiana, I'm really liking, for one, I'm liking your colder than average temperature chances. Number two, I'm liking your winter weather chances, and I'll show you why here in a second. So you see this, the front finally pulls through even here in the southeast, but it just struggles. It just takes forever to make it through. You look at the European, it's the same scenario. The European is much more realistic with the cold air in Texas, as you can tell. But there's obviously going to be a lot of Miller B or cold air damming here in the North Carolina and the South Carolina area. And that's what I'm watching. And that's what I'm watching for next week for us. Even though that's 7 to 8 days out, I really am liking something. But check this out. This is through 240 hours out. So this is the next 10 days. Look how much moisture. This is just liquid moisture. This is just, it's not accounting for winter weather. It's liquid moisture in the entire southeast, even into Texas. Basically, the whole entire eastern U.S. is above average, well below average. This is the EPS ensembles too, so this is something good to look at this range. Several inches of rain, of moisture. So could some of this, especially in this area, be winter weather? Yes, it could be, absolutely. And even here in the Carolinas. So we're going to go back up here. We're going to look at the operational GFS run just to give you a good idea of how much energy is flying around. You got this little system that's helping to prompt them winter weather advisories. You got another one, and this is where the Arctic boundary is, right here, right in here. So you have energy that's, and even the moisture is going to affect here in the southeast, but you get more of a cooler rain or warmer rain, even thunderstorms, because you're below the low pressure. So some areas going to get thunderstorms here in the southeast. In fact, if, for instance, me here in the Columbia, South Carolina area, there's thunderstorms in the forecast, potential here in the next couple days. It's because we're in the warm side of the low pressure. We're under it. So it gives us a chance for thunderstorms. Sometimes, depending on how a trough digs or basically the positioning of a trough and how it's digging, especially if it's digging out west and you have a big boat out like this, sometimes you can get severe weather even in the winter. So, you check this out. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Washington, D.C., New York City. Even in this area is going to continue to get blasted with winter weather. That's a good thing for us here in the southeast. What it's doing is it's increasing the snowpack. So, yeah, we're whiffing here, but at the same time, it's helping us up top. It's going to help amplify the cold air. But here it is, just that Arctic boundary. You're getting a bunch of rain in the southeast because the Arctic front it won't It won't budge. It's budging, but it's moving very slow. But the moisture gives it chance after chance. And then you get this other system that comes up, and finally the trough begins digging down here, and it's going like this. So you get the low pressures that's cutting through here, but you got plenty of cold air on this side. So it's like it's wanting to show Dallas winter weather, Shreveport, Arkansas, Western Tennessee, up to Kentucky. Look at the low pressure. It's following the Arctic boundary. That's what happens. It's just following the jet stream. And then it blasts a huge system here Saturday into Sunday. This is going to be a soaker for the southeast. Do not plan any outdoor activities, especially late in the weekend here in the southeast. It is just going to be messy weather, but check it out. That moves through, and I'm watching this. Let me back it up here. I'm still watching this area right here. This could bring a icing scenario, obviously, into Virginia, but I'm still watching it for North Carolina too. This cold air damming is trying to get going here, and I think it could trend much colder with a decent favorable high pressure and already some cold air up here, and snowpack is what I meant. So still watching. I think I might end up making a video before the end of the week about this system for Thursday night and Friday. That's something for an icing event, something to talk about too here in the coming days. But here comes that low pressure, and then we start to get into next Monday. This is when you get into La La Land, especially in this pattern. So here he is. You have the Arctic boundary setting up right here. What happens after this? Well, it's trying to show winter weather on the way in Brownsville, Texas. That's ridiculous. I just don't see that happening. But here it goes. You got the high pressure finally pushing this Arctic boundary more. So now you're getting winter weather a little bit further south, a little bit further east. And check out what happens. You get that going through. You get you basically get a low pressure popping here. It's still rain in South Carolina, but if you look at the run previous to that, let's see if we can back it up here. Check it out. You have winter weather. So it's just all over the place. So a big favorable, if we can get, let me tell you, it's as simple as getting the cold air here. Now, obviously, there's a chance we get the cold air here, and then we somehow manage to screw up all these systems that are delivering moisture. But for now, it's just a matter of getting the cold air here, and we're going to keep getting these slow pressures riding the boundary, riding the Arctic front. We're going to keep getting a chance, and eventually the Arctic fronts, according to the GFS, makes it here. So, you know, you look at the GFS ensembles, and I tell you what, they actually are good. So, obviously, you get through this period over the weekend, it picks up on the little bit of winter weather that keeps on showing up here in this area. You keep moving, and check out this. This is it picking up on that system for about a week from now, a week to 8 days away. This is a classic looking cold air damming look. Now, look. You go all the way through about 200 hours out, and that's a decent signal for this far out, going all the way through Columbia, South Carolina. And look, you got a decent signal all the way into Louisiana. This is just one ensemble run. So you look at the Euro. I like what the Euro shows a little bit better as far as the cold air damming, but it's showing the same thing. Arctic boundary setting up, wintry weather breaking out along the Arctic boundary. Where there's cold air in place, I think places like Oklahoma City, northern Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky could be a really wintry week, especially as we get later in the week. The Washington, D.C., y'all are certainly, even though y'all have not verified y'all's snow amounts the last couple of systems, it's still been pretty wintry. But look at here, and I'm going to be interesting on how these models trend overnight to this, but if you look here in North Carolina, it's going to be kind of hard to see on your screen. That is definitely trending colder if you look at the previous runs. So you got to watch Thursday night into Friday for a freezing rain threat in the favored cold air damming areas in North Carolina, which is normally the triad of North Carolina, and obviously just an all-out winter storm here in Virginia. You have been hit. I done lost count how many times you guys have been hit, but y'all are probably going to get hit again at the end of the week, and that's going to be another one to talk about, just like I was just mentioning on the GFS. So here you go. You get into that next system that I'm talking about. Look at this snow breaking out deep in Texas, and this is part of the next system. You get the Arctic front is now pushing all the way through, and the GFS, which is what was pushing it all the way through, isn't now. you got a ton of cold air here Monday morning. So look what happens. The low pressure pops up, and here we go. It throws a ton of freezing rain. And this is a big time cold air dam. You can tell this thing is digging big time. And then you have freezing rain, widespread freezing rain breaking out over Atlanta, getting into Columbia, getting into Greensville, and then it kind of erodes away. But let me tell you, next Wednesday and Tuesday is definitely something to watch. Now, there's a 75% chance it could do what all threats do a week out and just dissipate. But if the pattern can get here, if the cold air can get here, there's going to be a chance for winter weather in the southeast. I know I feel like I've been beating a dead horse with that, and everybody seems like they have. But so you look at the ensembles from the European, and it's funny, the ensembles for the Euro do not support the operational run that much. But the thing is it only shows snow. I think the GFS picks up on snow and ice. So therefore, it's not really showing ice. There's not really an ice ensemble, if you will. But, you know, this is something that it might be a little bit harder for some people to understand. But this is the EPS ensembles. Basically, when you get the next Tuesday, you get the high pressure that shifts over the northeast, the Arctic high pressure. What that does is you have plenty of snowpack up here. Enhances the cold. And you see how these lines are kind of bowing out like here? That is basically a wedge situating up here east of the Appalachian Mountains and basically entrenching cold air. That is a signal for cold air damming. And guys, that is a signal for an ice storm. If this works out, I really strongly believe we're going to favor more of an ice event, unless you're way up north in Virginia, maybe northern North Carolina. I think we're going to favor more of an ice event than anything, especially for areas in southern areas. So, long story short, I really think there's going to be an area, even here in Texas, maybe Arkansas, northern Louisiana. We're going to watch for winter weather. And basically, we got to watch for it when this Arctic air mass gets into y'all's area towards the end of the week, which I'm really starting to have confidence in. So basically, I want to show you this. This is from my friends here on Southern Weather. It's a great site for anybody who's interested in weather. They post all the models and they help out here. So this is the GFS ensembles. Something on Weather Bell that they do that they don't do on the weather models that I have a subscription to is they do a good job doing like a simulation of the GFS ensembles, almost if it's like its own run. So check it out here. This is ensembles, basically its own run. So this is next Tuesday. Check it out. Check out that pink. That is symbolizing an ice threat. You look right here. You look at the individual models, members, which I don't like showing at all. I think people get too wrapped up in them. But basically, all of these members right here is what creates this member. It's like a mean. It's like an average. So you look at a lot of these members. A lot of them show ice deep into the Carolinas, into Georgia. You see winter weather back into the Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas area. I know this is probably pretty hard to see on the screen, but you get what I'm saying. And then this is actually for Sunday. You know, so gosh, I hate to say it, but it's Monday night and we still have so much to work out. It's crazy, it's ridiculous, but that's the fun of weather. So we're gonna keep trying to figure this out for you guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and thank y'all, and y'all have a great evening.